Welcome, my friends, to Global Impact tonight. I'm David McQuell on the show, hosting tonight's show, Global Impact on TECNTV.com. We are back again talking about dirty jobs. There are jobs that are considered dirty because you don't sit in an office in a beautiful suit or wonderful shoes, shirts and tie, and just sit under the AC. They require hard work. They require getting your hands dirty, getting your feet dirty. They even require sometimes you entering into dirty places and getting all greased up and so on and sweating and so on and so forth. Sometimes beaten by the rain, sometimes different kinds of things, but they are dirty jobs. But they actually give you a better living. You don't spend a lot to go and learn the skills, and they also give you more money than some of the office jobs, the clean jobs. Generally the clean jobs are called white collar jobs because you earn more money and you just sit in offices and in beautiful places. But the dirty jobs are called dirty because you don't sit in good places, but however, you can actually earn 6 figures or even more doing them. Not only that, you don't spend that much to go to school and learn. Yesterday we watched a video by Handyman, and he gave us really great outlook into many things and many areas, that you may not have known. It was amazing. It's wonderful. If we have time tomorrow, probably we'll play that video again. It's absolutely important. Today we have other videos that I would like us to play and watch. But before then, I'll be right back after this break. Don't go away.
This is Global Impact with David McQuell, your host. Isaiah chapter 2 verses 1 to 5 says that a time is coming when the church will rise in authority and influence and dominate the earth. And many nations will come and say, "Teach us the ways of the Lord." Global Impact is a show that inspires you as a Christian to rise up through the values of the kingdom of God and shine as light wherever you may be. We believe that missions is no longer limited to some isolated, unreached community in some dark continent. The church should reach out to all aspects of life, including politics, business, science and research, the media and diplomacy, and every aspect of human life. Join us on Global Impact, Monday through Friday, at 2 p.m. Eastern Time and 6 p.m. GMT. Global Impact is broadcast on TECNTV.com. Join us.
Welcome back to the show. David McQuell here. I'm hosting Global Impact on TECNTV.com. Thank you so much for tuning in today, taking your time out to be on the show with us today. Today is a beautiful day here in West Africa. It's raining. It's actually raining here in Abidjan. The rain was threatening, looking like it was really going to be, heavy. There are still storms. I'm sure that thundering and storms will probably you would hear it in a distance far away from the microphone. But they're doing well. The weather, of course, in Africa, as usual, is very warm, if not hot. And when it rains like this, it cools down the place, really makes it feel nice. I'm feeling good in the studios right now. All my windows are open. And so welcome to the show. How are you doing? I hope that things are getting better and well with you where you are. As a Christian, I would really encourage you, if you are a Christian, to look up to the Lord at all times, in all circumstances, that no matter how tough life is, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's really going to get better. The Lord is going to help you. It's going to make way for you. Putting trust in God is really the best way to live. because times will keep changing, circumstances will keep changing. But you know, one of the things, the one thing that really never changed is the faithfulness of God. He is very faithful and caring. So welcome to the show tonight. And we're going back to the subject which we have been talking about. Is the only way to succeed in life college education? Is it the only way to have a university degree, a PhD, a master's degree? Is that the only way to make it in life? When we are growing up, lots of our parents, and many parents still do that today, they want something that will make them proud, rather. And most of the times, it's not about the welfare of the child, it's not about the future of the child. Most parents, it's what will make them proud. They want when someone asks them, hey, what's your son doing now? Oh, he's a doctor, he's a surgeon, he's a neurosurgeon, you know, he's a pediatrician, she's a gynecologist, you know, he's an engineer, he's an aeronautical engineer, you know, kind of, whoa, that's cool, that's cool. It's like kind of, wow, your son has succeeded, he's doing really well. And then if your son is a mechanic, you know, fixing, you know, cars, broken down cars, or he is a teacher, or he is a gardener, or he is a tailor, he is a carpenter, you know, it's like, oh, okay, oh, all right, I see, okay. You know, kind of like, you know, I mean, he's inferior, he's not really doing well in life. But that's a deception, actually. That's really a big deception. Because there are people who are doing these jobs that are called dirty jobs that are actually really doing well. And many students who graduate from college, many students who graduate from universities with good degrees end up piling unbelievable debt on their lives. And some of them, it takes 20 years or even more to clear that debt. Some of them never really pays off the debt. But most of these jobs, you call dirty jobs, actually you learn them without incurring any debt whatsoever. In most places, they are affordable, they're very affordable, and some of these skills can actually be learned on the job, you know. You just give yourself some time. Yesterday we saw the handyman was explaining how there are some, what he does is he does interior construction, and he says he had to learn it on the job. You know, you just take a year, you may not be paid anything really much that will take you anywhere, but after a year, you've gained all the skill that you need. But imagine you go to college and you graduate from college and you come back home, and then every time you go for a job, they ask you, we need 2 years experience, we need 5 years experience. How are you ever going to get a job if they keep asking you for experience? You just finished school. How are you going to get experience if you're not allowed to work and learn on the job? You know, but really, I'm not saying in any way that going to college is bad, and I'm not saying that it's a disadvantage. There are people who are tailored to go to college, to go to university, get a degree. It's not for everybody, and many people can actually really do better in life without a college degree. I know many people, especially here in Africa, who are graduates and who are struggling in life. Actually, they are doing something else other than what they studied in school, because they are just trying to survive. It's not about even getting a white-collar job. It's not about getting the dream job. It's just about, you know, finding a place where you can perch and so you can take care of yourself and feed your family. It's incredible. And so we go back to this subject, and we look at the things that we have been learning. Again, I want to remind you of Jeremy Boring's powerful video. Probably tomorrow we'll play it again. I don't get tired. You know, you see, if it's something that you're going to learn, sometimes watching and watching and watching again is actually what makes you get it. You don't get it by watching it once. You know, Jeremy Boring, who is a co-founder of Daily Wire, the conservative news, online news media, is pretty much doing well, and he talked about how he didn't he had choices, and the choices were either he should go to college or do something else. Well, he didn't go to college. At the end of the day, he chose differently, and it's worked out so well for him, being the co-founder of Daily Wire, and they're employing over 100 people and doing really well. You know, it's incredible, you know, that you can actually succeed, you know, without going to college. You don't have to. If you have the opportunity and the means and fits your desire, you can go. But if it's not part of your future, You don't have to, but I always think that it's good to get a high school diploma, get high school education, so you can, get the basic, the foundation of education and learn, So incredibly great and wonderful to see that. What do you really, sometimes the question to ask is, what do you really want to do? It's not about where, if I can get a place, if I can, and many people you ask them, oh, where do you want to work? Hey, any kind of, especially in Africa, anything that comes up, sir, I'm ready to do it, anything. That's desperation. And I understand your situation. Things are tough in Africa. Life is hard. It's just a matter of survival. I was sharing some time ago, and some people really didn't understand me. I shared a post on Facebook. I think it was 2020. And I said that I observed carefully that in the West, people's pursuit is happiness. In Africa, people's main pursuit, not everybody, but overwhelming majority of Africans, is about survival. They just want to be alive. They want to survive. They want to be able to eat, get water to drink, and clean water to drink, live in a good house. Just somewhere. In fact, some people, it's not even about the quality of the house. They just want a house. They just want to get water to drink, and they just want to survive. It's a different ball game altogether. It's a different ball game altogether. In the U.S., in the West, U.S., Canada, and Europe, it's incredible that everything is there. Everywhere is beautiful, and so all you just need is to just be happy. Many societies, you don't even need to work. You will earn some support. But in Africa, you don't have any food stamps anywhere. You don't have any insurance. You don't have any assistance. Like when COVID came, there was no assistance. From where? No assistance. Nobody, people survived, lost their jobs, lost their businesses, lost everything, and basically, I don't know what to say. They were just merely surviving. Merely surviving. However, it is important to understand that you have choices, or in the long run, you have choices, especially in a time of peace. I know in time of desperation, it is hard to look at the choices. But even then, in times of desperation, if you are very careful, you will find a path. You will really, really find a path. In the midst of desperation, you can actually really find a path. I was trying to get the documentary of a man in Ghana who started a company to clean dirt and sewages and Zoom Lion, and eventually, Hit It Rich became really one of the leading companies in Ghana. So the thing is that you really have to look inward inside of you and see what it is that you really, really love to do. What do you love to do? What's the thing that drives you? What's the thing that really touches your heart very, very well? And we're going to look at that. I'll just quickly take this break, and when we come back from break, we're going to watch the first video, and I guarantee you, you will be blessed. I'll be right back.
David McQuell on
Global
Impact at TC. Oh my word! On Global Impact at CTCN with David McQuell on Global Impact ECNTV.com.
Yeah.
And with David McQuell on Global Impact at TECNTV.com.
TECNTV.com.
Everything that's reported on television isn't always true, but it should be. NTD, the power of truth. Now available 24/7 on television and streaming platforms.
welcome back to the show. David Makwel here, hosting Global Impact on TECNTV.com. We're talking about dirty jobs. Jobs that are considered dirty are jobs that they are not white-collar jobs. They are not jobs that you sit in an AC, in an office under air condition and very clean, polished office, making 6 figures, 7 figures. They are jobs that maybe really look despising because of the way they look, and everybody thinks that you're a failure, and many people think that you are not making progress in life, and that because you get dirty, that means that you are not succeeding. But it can nothing can be further from the truth. So today we are back again looking at another video, and first of all, when you look at this PBS report, PBS NewsHour report, which also talked about the changing market of the post-COVID era, and how hand skills, trade skills are really very vital and important. And I'm sure that you will be blessed. Please take your time and watch with me.
Jobless claims were high again this past week. More than 860,000 people filed claims. Millions of people are still looking for work. But some employers say they can't find enough skilled workers for certain jobs. That is due in part, they say, to stigmas that need to change. Paul Solman has the story for our series, Work Shift, which focuses on navigating the job market in a post-COVID economy.
Get ready.
Get ready. Get ready.
Mike Rowe, man on a mission.
To get dirty. To get dirty.
For years on the Discovery Channel, Rowe was America's hands-on evangelist for dirty jobs.
I am so sorry.
Paving a road.
You're not but you're blinded.
Replacing an oil filter on a wind turbine.
Now that's a nasty, nasty, nasty little job.
After years of romanticizing the unromantic,
It's all about the glamour.
Rowe put money where his body was. The Mike Rowe Works Foundation, which has awarded about 1,000 scholarships totaling $5 million so far.
Typically, what we do is pay the fee that is due to a trade school or an apprenticeship program, or sometimes a community college.
Rowe has to evangelize because fewer kids than ever believe in dirty jobs.
Before COVID, there were 7.3 million open jobs, the majority of which didn't require a 4-year degree.
Seattle plumbing contractor Vinny Spizzari.
Working outside in the cold and the rain, crawling under houses, those are the things we as plumbers do. Kids these days, they don't want to put the effort in to get there.
Because we're going to come up, through, and then down.
But in a low-wage heavy economy, plumbing apprenticeships start at close to $20 an hour nowadays. And after just a few years and a license, top earners can make $70,000 and up. Unfortunately, dirty jobs have had an increasingly bad image, says Mike Rowe, and he thinks he knows why.
The push for one form of education, in my view, really was the beginning of a long list of stigmas and stereotypes and myths and misperceptions that to this day dissuade millions of kids from pursuing a legitimate opportunity to make 6 figures in the trades.
The culprit, in his view, the supposed cachet of college.
In the eyes of many parents and in the eyes of many counselors, the trade school was the thing you did if you weren't cut out for university.
How many of you would seriously consider a career in one of the trades? A high school class in industrial Lake Charles, Louisiana, anchor of Calcasieu Parish, which President Trump carried by better than 2-1. How many of these kids would consider a future in the trades? Just one. That one is Jacob Brewster, who loves woodworking, and yet he feels the pressure.
It's like, go to college, go to college. There's barely anybody saying, go to trade school, you know?
Not saying it to the 15% of kids who drop out of high school before graduating, nor to the additional 50% plus who don't finish college. Trade school, as post-secondary education, can be a ticket to a 6-figure income, but it's sneered at by kids, parents, and teachers alike.
That's not an option that's often presented to us. Like, this is not for you.
At least here, there is somewhat of a stigma if you don't go into college.
I, have to go to college or I'm nothing,
I think the stigma is real.
Brenda DeFelice has taught in Southwest Louisiana for 30 years.
Because we have so much industry, and we do have a lot of very successful tradespeople here who make a lot of money. I think in our area, it's less so, but it's still there.
Atlanta electrician Tanya Hicks sees the same bias in her community, even though unemployment is famously much higher for African Americans.
After the civil rights movement, a lot of African American children were encouraged to go to college instead. Sometimes in the African American culture, blue collar workers are looked down on or like they're less than if you do not have a college degree.
In fact, college grads earn 74% more than those with only a high school diploma, but not that much more than skilled tradespeople. Median income of $54,000 a year for a bachelor's degree versus $51,000 for electricians, $46,000 for plumbers. Although tradespeople may have somewhat shorter careers. But regardless, Mike Rowe says, there's a disconnect.
If you look at the way colleges have been able to raise their tuitions, and if you look at the speed with which the skills gap has widened, and if you look at the number of kids who are out there, well educated, but hopelessly in debt and not trained for a multitude of good jobs that actually exist, you begin to see the degree to which we're disconnected.
But as an economist might ask, or a Buddhist, what do you mean by a good job?
I have nothing against people that want to go to college. However, they can't find a job and now they're just in this insurmountable debt.
Michael Barbosa, now 26, had a scholarship to attend college, but dropped out.
I worked as a barista and a grocery store clerk for minimum wage. It was really hard to get by. The only way to really get by was to work a lot of hours and multiple jobs.
But on one of them, working in construction supply, he had his epiphany.
When I was doing my drywall stocking, I ran into a lot of plumbers, and they would ask me, why are you just drywall stocking? He says, don't you want to learn a trade?
There is so much hands-on work.
Barbosa is now training to be a plumber and being paid $16 an hour to learn. Daniel Stanke finished the same program, is now an apprentice plumber.
Both my parents went and graduated from college. My original plan was to become a history teacher. About halfway through, though, I fell out of love with that idea, kind of started looking around at other opportunities potentially.
His boss says he'll make 6 figures this year. And then there are those few like Sarah Schnabel, who graduated with a math degree from Ivy League Cornell.
Growing up, it was always like, oh, you went to the trade school because you didn't do well in school. I still get comments from my family like, why are you doing this?
She now works with electrician Brian Lamort, who graduated from Towson University in Maryland with a computer degree.
In college, would you have thought that you would become an electrician?
No.
Why not?
At that point, I figured I'm training myself to go out and work for some big company and be a systems analyst or something like that. But in reality, I eventually came to find you can become replaced very easily. You can become very comfortable and then become obsolete very fast in the tech world.
Look, says Mike Rowe,
a liberal arts education is not the enemy. I've got one. It served me well. But there are entire categories of work that are shrouded in mystery. And if we don't demystify them and destigmatize them, we're going to be waiting for plumbers and electricians for a long, long time.
Is the gap closing? Is the stigma beginning to dissolve, or no?
I think it is. And perversely, I think COVID might have something to do with it. I'm sure you've noticed there's a new word that's really been injected into the lexicon, essential.
Which is, in fact, just how Vinny Spazzari's plumbing apprentices feel.
Sometimes you're just people's heroes, especially if they've been in a bad spot for a couple days.
They actually have called me heroes. It's just great, you know?
I can't tell you the amount of pride from people in our industry, how we felt that we needed to keep the country going. And we have the jobs of the future for sustainability and energy and water conservation.
As you can tell from the music, I'm about to wrap things up.
All of which makes Mike Rowe think, or maybe hope.
And when things get back to normal, this country is going to enter a new age of work. A new age of making things and fixing things and building things. An age where skilled workers are going to be in demand like never before.
We'll see. For the PBS NewsHour, Paul Salman.
Such a great report. Thank you.
Oh, wow, that's really powerful. what are the key things that I picked from this? They talked about the stigmatization of these jobs called dirty jobs. People stigmatize them. People, all kinds of beliefs and attitudes. Oh, you didn't do well in school, that's why you are a carpenter. That's why you are a trader. That's why you are, you are a marketer. That's the reason why you are, a plumber. That's the reason why you're a painter, or whatever it is. So they always stigmatize, and the stigmatization discourages many people who would rather have done well in their lives and be happy without debt, to shy away from these jobs. And of course, really, if you sit down and look at it carefully, you realize that it is wrong to stigmatize people who work to earn a living, especially for us as Christians. The Bible says there is dignity, on everyone. Everyone is made in the image and dignity of God. And also, work is actually God's calling upon our lives. Everybody should work. What kind of job? The Bible never states it categorically, but everyone should be working. So when someone is working, instead of idling around, the person should be appreciated and encouraged, really encouraged. Farmers are greatly despised, especially by people who live in city, ivy towers, and work in Silicon Valley. They think that farmers are people who are poor, people who are wretched, people who have no option for doing what they are doing. Actually, it's because they chose to do it. And actually, you can choose to be a farmer. You can rear animals, you can rear crops and fruits, and really feed the nation.